Are you a good financial role model? We're going to talk about that coming up.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to an all-new edition of the Sunday Night Sit Down with America's #1 money couple. I'm Talent.
And I'm Ty, and we're from hisandhermoney.com, where we're managing money, marriage, and everything in between.
The Sunday Night Sit Down is being brought to you by Audible. Audible.com is a great resource to get audiobooks for those who have less than ideal time available to get reading in. We all know that reading is fundamental and it's a habit of millionaires and billionaires worldwide. So if you're striving to be one of them, you're going to have to start reading. And Audible is a great way for you to do that. You can get a free trial and a free ebook by going to hisandhermoney.com/audible. And of course, we'll have the link down below in the description box. Well, guys, listen. We want you guys to know about financial literacy and about how to win with your finances, not strictly for you. But we want this to be so impactful for you that you impart this to people around you in your circles, your children, and maybe even your grandchildren one day. We're talking about legacy. That's our goal. That's our heart's desire behind everything that we do here at His and Her Money. But you know what? We can't get to any of that. We can't get to any ounce of legacy if we don't first get to you and get this information to you and get your behavior to change and get you winning with your finances. And part of you getting yourself together is knowing why you're doing what you're doing. A lot of times we have these desires, especially at the beginning of the year. We say, this is the year where everything is going to change. I'm going to get my finances in order, and this is it. But then we crash and burn because we didn't really have a really solid why behind what we said we were going to do. And we want you all to have a solid why, because if you get that solid why, man, when times are tough, when things aren't going as planned, when you're feeling a little less than motivated, you can fall back on that why to help you continue moving forward.
Now, I want you to stop and think about it. Can you honestly say that you have been a great financial role model, let's say to your children? For some of you, the answer is yes. But for a lot of you, the answer is probably no. Now, we thought about, over the years when we were growing up. I grew up in a family where my parents didn't necessarily talk about, being debt-free, but I saw it. Their actions spoke louder than words. And I ended up picking that up. And I, too, despised debt. And I knew that I didn't want anything to do with debt. My husband, on the other end, although his parents did tell him the right, things to do. And they told him, don't touch debt. And they told him all of the financial, tips and steps that we share with you guys here on our channel. But he went the opposite direction. Now, for some of you, you may have grown up with parents that were not financially responsible, and it may not necessarily be your fault.
That's right. Bill Gates, one of the wealthiest people in the whole world, currently a billionaire. And there was an article that came out not too long ago that said he is on pace to be the world's first trillionaire. Amazing. With a T, okay? So that lets me know that he might know a little bit something about money. And he has an amazing quote. He says that if you were born poor, that's not your fault. But if you die poor, that is your fault. Because it's not about just how you start. A lot of people start in the position that they wish they didn't start in. But that doesn't mean that you have to stay in that position. There are some things that you can do. There are some changes you can make to change your life's trajectory, especially in the area of personal finance.
So you are going to have to make that change. Are you going to start setting an example to your family members, your children, your friends, maybe employees? Are you going to set the right example and be the right financial role model that they need to see?
Now listen, being a good role model doesn't mean that you become a perfect person. Part of being a good role model is showing your flaws as well as your victories, because there's lessons in both. And if you don't impart these lessons to your children, to those people around you, they won't learn from your mistakes and they will end up repeating your mistakes. How many times have you said, man, I hope my child doesn't do this mistake that I did, but then they end up doing it because they didn't have the lesson that came from your mistake. It's not enough to say, you know what, you shouldn't do that because you're not going to like the results. But talk about, man, you know what, student loans might not be the best option for you. Man, I spent 10 long, stressful years paying off my student loans, and it was tough. And if you can find another way to go to college and get your college paid for, you need to really consider it. You know what I mean? So you may not have made wise choices. That does not disqualify you from being a good financial role model. You don't just have to have perfect credit and all your debt paid off to be a good role model. You can be in the fight for your financial freedom, and you can be talking about what you're learning along the way, and that is also an example of a good financial role model.
Now, some of you may be asking the question, well, if I'm not a good financial role model currently, how can I be? Who can I look to? Well, guys, the answer is sort of sitting right in front of your screen. You guys are doing the right thing by coming to our channel, His and Her Money. You're also doing the right thing by going to our website, hisandhermoney.com. And then there are so many other people that are doing it right every single day. Look, around you. Do you have maybe a family member or a very close friend that you kind of see, you know what? They seem to be doing pretty all right. They seem to be, making the right decisions. Sit down, talk with them. Grab a cup of coffee and just let them know, hey, I made a lot of mistakes and I need help. Will you be willing to hold my hand?
Now, for some of you, you may not have somebody in your circle, in your network that you can necessarily reach out to because you might be surrounded by a bunch of folks who don't have their finances figured out. Well, guess what? You can have role models from a distance in books.
Yep.
Hello. You can read books. You can listen to books. We talk about audible.com. You can find your role models in the pages of the books that they write, because a lot of times authors are writing books from their heart. They're writing books from their story. They're telling you where they started and how they got to where they are. So if you don't have the people in your life, in your circle, guess what? It's time to find some digital role models to learn from, and then take the lessons that you learn and break the cycle of destruction financially that's all around you and start giving that wisdom out to others.
And one of the ways that you can break that cycle is by creating a budget. And we are here to help you guys. We are so excited. In just a few weeks, we will be announcing our brand new course called Teach Me How to Budget. We want to help you. If you are interested in checking out this course and learning from us, then you definitely want to visit teachmehowtobudget.com. The link will be in the description box below. We'll also put it up on the screen. But just go there, put in your email address, and as soon as it goes live, we will definitely notify you.
Now, before we wrap this up, I want to talk to the men. Guess what? The Bible tells us that we are priests in our home. And that means that we are to lead. And a good leader always leads by example. Again, don't think that it has to be that you have to be perfect and have everything financially figured out. No. If you just show that you are willing to do what it takes to get your finances in order, you are being a good role model to your wife, your children, to those that look up to you. It's all about a decision and a choice that's followed up by consistent action on your part. So if you truly want to lead your family into financial freedom, you're going to have to lead by example, and you're going to have to be that good financial role model that your family needs.
That's right. And I'm going to talk to the ladies. Same thing for you. Are you being a distraction to your spouse? Are you not showing responsible duties when it comes to your financial matters? You have a part to play in this as well too. So let's start learning from each other. Let's start making the right decisions, and let's start turning our financial situation around. Well, guys, if you all enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, check us out over at our website at hisandhermoney.com, and meet us back here next Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where you will see the both of us sharing with you.
Well, guys, that's all for this week. It's been great. Until next time, peace.
Bye.